Okay, so if you're new to Figma, right, from the top, you have, it's just the same thing you'd have in your Adobe XD. You'd have like your main menus here, where of course file, edit, view, objects, vector, and all of those things. You have plugins too as well. You have integrations. Plugins are actually very good. Today we're actually going to be working with a lot of plugins, and there's some questions that Anna was asking me sometime last week. I'm going to be answering them on this particular lesson. You probably be seeing a lot of. She used to ask me, why don't we have mockups on this? Why don't we? We're going to see that on some plugins we're going to try and initiate today. Obviously, we have our move tool, which is like same thing we have over there. We have our scale, and we have the artboard. So if we're working with XD, you probably see something to the side like this, right? Over here it changes a little bit. I mean, we still have the same tool. We have our frame. So for the frame here is what you when you want to create frame is what we normally would call artboard in Adobe XD, but over here we call it frame, right? And then we have other tools that are very important to us: rectangle, line, arrow, ellipse, polygon, star. If you want to place an image, yeah, that's what it is. You have your pen tool, which is the same thing we have over here, and then we have our type, our hand, and comments if you want to have comments. So that's more like what the tool section is over here. And of course, if you want to open, of course, your artboard is your frame, right? So frame for Figma, artboard for Adobe XD. So all the names take the names FFAA, Adobe for what it is, and frame for Figma. So what we want to do now is open up. We want to do a user flow. So for the user flow for our food application, this is how I'm going to do it, and I would love you guys to go with me as I do this, right? And so the first thing I want to do is probably just have a text here that says, this is my user flow, right? So user flow diagram. I'll probably just make this like 50 so that it is big enough to be able to accommodate a lot of our shenanigans. Let's make this one bold. Okay, so the first thing I want to have is I want to have something looking like this. So we remember in the past we probably designed this user flow different in a different way, but today I want to design it a little bit different, right? I'll just give it a stroke, and I'm going to give this stroke 1 second. I'm going to give this stroke say 10 or 9. I'm going to give this a rounded edge of 10 too as well. So probably just give it 20, and then I'll make this white. Right, so what I'm trying to do right here is I'm trying to make this look like the mobile app that we're supposed to be designing, right? Let's just give this 2D, 2D, 2D. Okay, let's give this one 2D, 2D, 2D. Okay, so that's what it is, right? So the first thing we want to have, or we're going to be having here, is our splash page, right? That's the first thing we always put open here. So the first thing we want to have for this particular food application that we're going to be working on, we probably call this and over the weekend I went somewhere called it's called, I think it was called Yakoyo, right? So we probably named this Yakoho application, right? So the first thing I want to have is my splash page, and that's what you guys can see here. I already told you why. Sorry, let me just accommodate. Let me just get that person in here. Please make sure that your mics are muted. Thank you. Alright, so the first thing I want to have is my splash page, right? And remember what I told you about splash pages. Very important, because without a splash page you cannot identify, you don't know who is who, you don't know. I mean, imagine you don't have a splash page. Imagine you have like a GT Bank's logo here. You open an application of a GT Bank and you see a Zenith Bank splash page. The first thing that comes to your mind is, hey, 419, no. Hey, if I enter my user ID and my password, these guys are going to eat me raw. So like, the splash page has obviously always has the logo of the brand or whatever the food business is. So if it's called Yakoyo, it probably would want to be having the logo on the splash page. So that's what the splash page is regardless. So the next page we want to have is our, maybe we'll just name this say a sign-in page, right? Yeah, so let's have this looking like a sign-in page, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something that you probably won't have seen me do in a while. Probably use a plugin, right, called Autoflow. Now I want to just link this splash page to sign in, right? So you see that there's a flow between the splash page and the sign in. The next thing I want to have after signing is, of course, like you already know, is my sign up, right? So yeah, so I think what we should first have is, okay, yeah, for so sign in or sign up. So these two can actually be intertwined in the sense that if you remember how we used to add all those UX things of, if you're already registered then sign in, then this sign in, if you're already if you have not signed in, then sign up. So these two can go too as well. So what I just have to do is click on here, hold on shift, and you see that these two are also can also work like hand in hand. So you can literally see a link between both of them. So if you're not already registered, go to sign. So you can. If you're already registered, if you're not registered, then you have to sign up. If you're already registered, then you can sign in. So the splash page goes straight into sign in, and then all of those actions work. And that's why it's called a user flow diagram, because obviously you need to know what's going on in between both of them. Now after that, the next thing you probably would want to be working on having is your dashboard. So let me just quickly duplicate this. So what happens here is, okay, I want to have my dashboard, right? So that's the dashboard now. So the dashboard is literally, as far as I'm concerned, is literally a place where you can see food selections, etc, right? So you can see all the food menus and let's call it menu, right? So you can see all the food menu and all of those type of things. Now that comes in from signing to dashboard, right? So I'm going to click on here again, hold on shift, and you can see the link come. So it goes from signing to dashboard. Now also, if you're not on this page and you're on this page, when you're signed up, where does this go to? It goes to dashboard, right? So the same thing happens. So there's also a link up, right? So after your dashboard, right, you're seeing your food selection. What do you want to see after your food selection? After you've clicked on you've seen, okay, so on this dashboard you see the different types of food here. You want to click on the food. Now when you click on the food, where does it take you to? It takes you to a food page. So that's probably the next page you want to have, right? You want to have like a page that is just strictly for that particular meal that you clicked on, right? So that's a food, let's just name that like it's going to be let's just name that a food page or something, right? So it goes from your dashboard to your page, so there's a link up. So that's what we have there, right? Okay, so we're almost done with our flow diagram. We're not going to make it too big so you understand it now. So after your food page, you've clicked on the food, what do you want to do next? I've seen the food now. What do? I want to add it to my cart, right? So you want to also have a cart, you also want to have a cart page. So what am I going to do here too as well? Very easy peasy. Let's duplicate all of this. So I want to have a cart page, right? Remember, you've added your food from your food page. Where does it take you to? It takes you to your cart page, right? Okay, really straightforward. Now what happens next after your cart page? Obviously your cart page, you probably would want to now you want to update, say maybe you want to update your address or something. Now I'm sure you probably would either do that on your card page. Um, let's see how it goes. But so I think from your after your card page, you may probably want to now say you want to pay, right? I think that's like the next thing you probably would want to do. After your cart, you want to pay, or after your cart page, when you're seeing your cart page, you want to probably update your billing, like you update your address, because that's also a very important thing. So let's do update address, and then we can now have a billing page, right? So this is where you add card and all of this and all of those type of things. Or we can make this update address have functionalities of adding card or something like that, depending on how we decide our UI to be. We will know when we get there. Now when we're done with this, let's do it this way. Let's just do it this way. Let's have this add card over here. Okay, so now after the add card, this is probably an add card. Let's do payments page. So under the payments page, you can add your card, right? So now after that, so there's a link up, right? So there's a link up from cart page to update your address, right? Works. And then there's a link up from update address to what? To your payments page. Okay. Now, after that, the final thing you probably would want to now have is I've added my card, I've paid. My payment page is where you add your card and when you pay. After that, the next thing I probably want to know is when is my food getting to me. So probably like an order confirmation plus tracking page or something like that. And that is your last page. Then of course, like every other thing, you can now, after this order confirmation, maybe your food has gotten to you, the step starts again. No, not it doesn't start, so it starts again, right? Yeah. So that's what you have for your user flow page. The next thing I want to do now is, next thing we do after this part is we want to have to do our low fidelity, right? So I'm going to of course duplicate this thing as well and say this is my low fidelity wire. Okay. Now we already know what our low fidelity wire is. Now the thing is, like I always say, I'm doing it this detailed today because normally we'll have done it the fast way, but I want us to remember our roots, where we are coming from, in as much as now we can just open all our Figma designs and just do them sharp. But please remember our roots. Remember before we'd probably say, let's do the sketch first, right? Before we say we want to do all of these things. But now we'll just start by doing our low fidelity. Our low fidelity would be the splash page, what you already see here. We are starting from start and are obviously going to want to end. I hope this will be able to end with our confirmation page. Please make sure that your mics are muted because we are currently recording the class. So yeah, so we start from splash page and then we end over here. So the first thing I want to do now for this low fidelity wireframe is our frame. So it's F shortcut on your keyboard, right, for frames. But if you don't know, if yours isn't selecting, click on over here and you see you have your frames. Once you click on it, you will know what you are designing for. Right now we're going to be doing 11 Pro Max. So once you click on 11 Pro Max, it just reflects. Voila, felt like magic. That is what it is. So what we want to do is have our splash page, and our splash page, like I said before, is probably our logo. So we can have a representation of what the logo is supposed to just be, or we can decide to go a step further and have our supposed logo. I mean, still doesn't cost any harm to have our proposed logo because it is us doing it. So I just have my text tool and see I can do logo Yakoyo. Because I told you I went to eat over there and the food was good, so I remember the place. So we have your Koyo, right? And for the wireframes, when it's a low fidelity wireframe, you don't want to be designing your low fidelity wireframes with colors, because you remember it's a low fidelity wireframe, it's not the main thing, right? I probably would not have put a logo here, but I mean, you can just decide to do it that way. So for this, I probably would just have it looking this way, right? So just a gray to make sure that things are Gucci enough. So I have my splash page. That's the first thing over here. The next thing I want to have is my sign up, right? I'm just going to duplicate this. Sorry, sometimes I can be very fast. I have to remind myself. Text type, the text tool. If you click on it and you click over here, you can now have your username, right? So probably have this be 18. Reduce this from bold to like regular to like medium. We can actually get this one to still be like 15, because and then I like all the grays because remember it's a wireframe. We're not doing the main thing. It's actually still the main thing, but I mean I don't even understand what I'm saying. So I'm just gonna have something that will represent. So remember, I think this is the sign-in page, right? Please mute your mics. Please mute your mics, please. That is going to be a problem for us. Gonna make this rounded 7 effects also be there, but it's you don't need to put effects now because it's low fidelity. It's supposed to be low fidelity. Alright, so we can still have, remember we had a link up over here that says already sign up. So already what, not registered, sign up. So we can, this is where we have that. Alright, so I took phone number just in case and we want to call them because it's a food app, right? So you want to, never can tell. So we've done our first 3 screens. We've done low fidelity, we've done sign in, we've done sign up. Okay, so we have something over under here to sort out. So this one is supposed to be already registered, sign in. Right, so the next thing we want to do is our dashboard. I'm a stickler for, see, for Figma we can still decide to make things tidy by, grouping things and then making sure we have these things renamed and sign and so on as you know can decide to tidy up our documents later, but we can also decide to our layer panel is showing, so we can decide to name things so they look nice and orderly and all those type of things. So the next thing we want to have is our dashboard, right? So the dashboard page is supposed to what? Be giving us things like showing us things like what a food menu. It's a food application that we're designing, so we want to know how this food thing is going to be. So um, this is how we're going to do it, right? It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to duplicate it, right? We don't need this anymore. Okay, we don't need that anymore. We can flatten. We can ungroup. We can take all of these ones out. Push this. Can decide to have that text home. Causes nothing, but of course, like I always do, we need place for our profile. Let's make this 15, center, bold. Okay, and of course our menu, right? There's also plugins for icons. We can use a lot of. I'm always a stickler, like I always say, do things the hard way, and then of course you get to, when you have your plugins, you do them. In fact, sometimes people be like, I design so fast. I design fast because when you now have the plugins, you're able to design faster. You get, so one second. It's not looking 100. See if it's slightly. Okay, let's do it this way. Let's give it some. Oops. Let's give it a stroke, but this stroke is too much. So remember, we're giving all of these things stroke not because we want to, but because it's we're trying to say, okay, it's a low fidelity we are working on, so we can afford to give all of our design stroke. But when you now start and doing the main thing, there's no need for you to have your stroke. Please don't forget. So the next thing we probably want to have is our search, because that's like very, very important. In fact, some people, when they do low fidelity wireframes, they probably even still do the same thing, have the icons looking there and all of those type of things. So you can how should we do this? Let's still maintain a space in between. Let's make sure that we are starting this and ending on the same space. So I'm just going to try and see how I can pop out my icon real quick. Let's reduce this to like semi-bold. Let's get icons in here so that we can make everything look pretty. So I'm trying to, my icon wants to go and hide there. So let's see. Trying to bring the icon to the front, but it is not dragging. I think this is it. Wait, we're on what page are we on? We're on sign up. Let me put it inside. Let's see. Okay. Okay. This one is ours. That's why. My bad. Okay. So I think we're good now. So yeah. This is too big. I could probably get. So I have this is also another plugin, right? It's called Iconify. It has this particular plugin has all the plugins that like all the icons in one. So I could probably leave links for that one for you people too. So that you can download these plugins. They're very helpful, right? Yeah. So I need another icon. I probably need I need a search icon so that things are looking Gucci. So all I have to just do is just search. So you can see how it feels like our workflow is getting faster because of the use of doing the right things at the right time. Yeah. So what do we do next? We need to have one, two, three. Eight. Eight. So we probably have something that looks like this. When you say, should we have this as vegetables? I don't think so. Let's have like maybe fast foods or something. I don't know. I don't know what the menu of that place looks like. But we'll probably have an icon here, right? So we have fast food. Let's reduce this to maybe like 10 or something. So we have fast food, and maybe we can. So this we can actually change this later, right? We can just have icons that represent. Maybe later we can have that changed. So we can still have this as vegetables or something. So remember, we'll all have icons here, here, and here. So that gives us. So what I want to do, and for consistency, guys, look at this, is to make sure that the distance from here to here, from here to here, is the same thing from here to here, and the same thing from here to here. So to do that, you just hold on the text, hold on Alt to know the distance inside is 10. This one is 18, so we have to make sure that it flows to 10. This one is 8, so we have to make sure that it flows to 10. So now everything starts from the same and ends on the same section. So pretty straightforward. So the next thing I want to do is already have representations of what icons are supposed to be inside here, right? And just have stroke for that one, and make sure that this is maybe like let's make it 4 or 3. So that looks good. And we make sure that obviously these are going to be icons, right? So we just want to make sure that this this is 11, make it 10, right? So same thing. This is 9, so this is 10 too as well. And then the last one, this is 9, so make it 10. Yeah. So that's pretty straight. This is not centralized. I know. I wanted it to go and fade in, but I may actually, I think we should accommodate that type of thing. Let's leave it this way. We may decide to change it as we progress, but I want to have a sliding effect, right? So the next thing I'll probably want to be doing next is have our menu showcase, like the type of things. So the next thing I want to have is so maybe we can have this to accommodate different menus, right? We still have stroke for that. So we have something like popular items that people buy a lot. Like, could be common and all those really lovely stuff. This 8 to you notice the space I have between here and here, the same space I have between here and here. Let me be sure that, yeah. So you can see, same space I have between here and here. And this is 21, it's 22. So I need to move it one notch. So that's 21. So I have to make sure that this is also it's 26. So we have to make sure that's 21. So you can see it's 21. Year to year 21, year to year 21. So there's some sort of consistency. Okay, so you should probably have, I want to do something fun. Let's make this design like this. I want this to be bigger than every other thing. So that it has this effect. That one. Okay, so something else I probably want to add over here, so before we move our here, is I want to have like let me have circles that can accommodate the type of meals, like ellipse tools that we can have over here. So this can have maybe like the pasta showing or something. And have this same thing here, but remember it will be smaller because this is bigger than these two things. This is smaller because the side is this is bigger because it's like the main. Okay, so I want to have maybe which we have here, prawn mix salad or something. I don't know what you guys ate or something. Okay, let's have rice. Let's have fried rice. And let the plantain enter inside. Fried rice and plantain. And then probably have maybe we can have chicken or grilled chicken over here. Fine. So then we have the price list here, because it's very important. I want to know, like when you go to most of these places, you want to know how much it is per portion or something. Then it don't be like they come and eat us raw. So we can say the prawn mix salad is like 2,500. That's reasonable. So I make sure that everything is. Okay, then of course we have to have our menus. So Joe, I'm coming to have something that looks like this. let me use a different type of icon. So this one too as well, we also have like popular meals that people buy. You know, we can have still in the circle, we probably have, I don't know, sure we can have amala something. Amala and gbegiri or something. Let's just leave it amala so that it's not all that large or something. So you can make this amala maybe so let me just get the naira size. So I think how much you sell the amala? I think we can sell this amala for maybe like 1.5. Very expensive. I think relatively expensive amala. But I feel like the other like cheap, confirmed cheap chow you can buy. We can sell that one 1,000. Now, if you look at this design, you probably see that this one is entering inside, and you see that this one is big, and then this is entering, this is entering now. Remember, from the top, we already always had like this entry, so this one too can afford to enter. So we can have maybe we can have um, I don't know what meals do we have out here. What meals do we have? We can have okay, we have fried rice. We can have jollof. Maybe we can have Nigerian jollof. So we make it N jollof. So N jollof will probably be like 1.8, and then we can have say pepper soup or something. That one can be like 3.5. Okay, so I think we should reduce the size of this to like 10 or something. I don't know. Let's make this smaller. So let's make it like this. Let's make it smaller. I don't think because if we make it that big, I feel like maybe the price will drive our customers away. Let the thingy be more about like the name of the meal. She gets. Make sure that. No meat. Alright, so let's see how this works. what else do we think we have? We just have our menus really. So we can bring this down a little bit. It's too to the top. Because I'm sure that if we play this one, we probably see that at that point it was too to the top. So enough room to come down a little bit more. I think we're fine. I think it's okay now. Yeah. Okay, so we want to have our menu. So I think our menu should just be past order. So like a cat, home, a favorite meal. So if you go on a meal page, you may like the meal. So like most of your favorite meals will show. So we have cat, favorite meal, home, which is what we have here. Settings. Settings can accommodate add card and all of those type of things. Then we can have menu. Okay, so let's just look for card. So let's open our icons and just get maybe we can make it a basket. Let's make it a card. Let's see what the card has. Nah. Let's see what the bag has. This is not that bad. You can make it a bag or something. Because I mean, then we can make the love emoji. I think the love is favorite too as well. It's not this one. Let's do setting. Then let's do profile. No, this is not it now. Let's try account. So I think we have all our menus. Apart from our favorite, what do you think? Let me 1 second. Let me be sure that favorite. Let's check whether we can have whether okay. So that works. So let's just align this thing properly. So we have. It would have been good if we had like our menu for this one up, and then we can have the main things down. So let's know what this 29 to 80. That's too much. 59, 60, 64, 59, 59, 50. 50, so let's make sure that think this one over here is too big. I don't know if I like this one anymore. I don't know. It just looks funny. Maybe I can have this without this. Let's accommodate this here. Let's see whether it works. Right? So guys, do you have any questions? Before we move on, question time again.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, for the icons,
Yeah.
yeah, how do you proportion them? Like, how do you make them of equal size? Or how do you measure them?
You know, I just dragged this. I didn't even measure it. I didn't even. I just
Okay,
dragged it from. This particular Figma has plugins, and I have those plugins for icons. It's called. It's
okay,
called. I think it's called Iconify. So like,
okay,
once I immediately I dragged it. I mean, it's the same size. I mean, I decided to use. But if your icon is a little bit bigger than what it should be, there's a width and there's a height. There's a width of 24 and a height of 24. Right? So if you drag an icon and maybe your icon is maybe the width is maybe like just wait, let me just show you something. It's 40. Wait, let me just show you something. Yo, so this is actually a good. I don't know how that happened, but this is a good example. There are two ways you can do it, right? Let me. It's either you click on it, hold on Shift. If you don't hold on
okay,
Shift, your icon would be dragged anyhow and will lose its shape. Did you get?
okay,
So if you
okay.
hold on Shift while you it's going down very good. Can you see? It's going down good. You can see. Now, if you want all your icons to be a certain size, maybe
Mm-hmm.
25, 25, constraint proportions, that works fine. You see, this is what I did. When I clicked
No.
on, okay, so normally, this is how it is, right?
Huh?
If you want your icon to be maybe a certain size or maybe the width 25, all your icons, you want their width to be 25, 25, 25, 25. You click
Yeah.
on this magnet link on the top, on this right, on this corner here. It's called Constraint Proportions. And for Adobe XD, I'm sure you would have that too as well. Let me see. You have that too somewhere here. Can you see it? Lock aspect. For Adobe XD, it's called lock aspect. If you click on it
Okay,
and you hold on 25, you see it goes down to 25.
okay,
This one is called what? Constraint Proportion. So you have to lock it, make sure it's locked so that your height retains its freshness. It's Gucci-ness. Let me use that word. Did you get? So constraint proportion for Figma for XD
mm-hmm.
is called it's called what? Lock aspect and unlock aspect. So that's what it is. Any other questions?
Now, I have a question.
Yes, please.
I don't know if the other person is done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can ask. Go on, go on.
Okay, so me, I have real quick. I just have like three short questions. So the first one is in terms of like these group lines. You know, I also is another thing I also talked to you about. Like, especially like in the beginning stage of things where you're just learning
Yeah.
how like. So you didn't like use any group lines. So I don't know if like it's a optional thing because for me, like I've always like relied heavily on grid lines just so to know like the like edges and all of that. Like for example, now when you put the hamburger, all of that, like you now might be looking at it like visually, like you know that okay, this is it. But like for those that are just us that are just starting out, would you say grid lines are very important for things like that? Because you didn't use any grid lines, so I don't know if it's an optional thing. Because I rely heavily on grid lines. My second
Okay.
question is so if you're having like a menu option at the bottom that shows settings, all of those things, there should there still be like a profile menu on the right side of the screen? Can you have like both? That's like another question I have.
Yeah.
Then the third is for her, so I read of something called heuristics. I don't know if it's correct. So like sign up, sign in can be clashing. So I mean, other people have said use register like as the action button, register instead of like use sign up or sign. So if you sign in, use sign in. If it's registered, use register instead to
Yeah.
call to action instead of using sign up. So I don't know if that's also like an optional thing or like the standard because I've been reading everywhere that oh like you can't use sign in and sign up at the same time. Like you have
When you say okay, wait, chill. When you say sign in and sign up, what do you mean?
I mean, like if you're using register, for instance, right? The action button should be register. Do you get instead of sign up? Do you get?
That's relative.
Yeah, so that's why I don't know if it's like a.
Like
I mean, there's something I saw something that
you know.
use use clear cut. Like you have to be very like tactical when you are using those things. Like the sign up side will be confusing for people, so you need to
If it's
differentiate.
if it's log in, is log out. If it's sign in, is sign up. It's the thing is, these things are pretty relative. I can decide to even use you want kick in. I mean, maybe like maybe like a pigeon term for enter, or like I don't know. Most of these things are pretty relative. But if I was using, for instance, if I was using sign in here, I probably would not use. What's another word for sign up? So anybody? Deji, you're the one here now.
Yeah, 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 I'm here.
Yeah, what's another word for sign up?
Uh,
Okay,
that,
wait.
well, you said you already said not registered. Can't use register again. So maybe if it was don't have an account, register, right?
Like most of these things are English. It's pretty relative, bro. Can do as you like. Can as far as the
Okay,
experience is good enough for you. Do you
okay,
understand what I'm saying? But I won't advise if you're using login, you're going to if you're using for instance if you're using login here, you probably log in here. You probably will not want to use sign up here.
oh,
Sorry,
okay,
sorry. Wait. I think there's a mistake in my own explanation. If you are using login, you obviously want to use the one that is next to you log out. Do you understand?
yeah,
Yeah, so I think it's pretty all these things are just text and they're relative. Most times for us that are doing so us doing the design, it's part of client requirement. Sometimes you should have someone that does the copy. They shouldn't give us the stress of making sure that we're doing sign. Some companies will not want signing.
okay,
Do you get? So if you're working in a big company, for instance, sometimes we don't do these copies ourselves. And the funny thing is when you ask questions like what do you so okay, so how are these people going to sign in, or how are these people going to sign? You know whether the phone number you're going to use, or do you understand what I'm trying to say?
yeah,
You know whether you're going to be using add to cart or buy food. So
but
for
yeah,
when we
yeah,
probably get to the add to cart function or the add to cart stage, you're probably going to know whether you're going to be saying add to cart or buy food, because add to cart is probably even sounding more like an e-commerce website, but we
all right,
want them to buy food. So some of these things are text, right? And sometimes we leave them for copywriters and organizations to handle this thing and say, okay, I think I prefer it this way. We are only
yeah,
here to make the experience easier. They are there
mm-hmm.
to make sure they give us enough information to make sure that what they are giving us is Gucci. You
Yeah.
get enough for us to
Okay.
frame. Then your other question was this.
Yeah.
You can decide to have,
So,
you can
if you have a, so
normally
if you have a, oh, sorry.
normally okay, you want to ask the question.
Yeah, I'm still saying. So now that you have the hamburger there now, so when you open that
I
hamburger
can
and it
decide
comes
to
up with
remove.
like,
I just put the hamburger there. I can decide. We not normally would have two menu styles. It's not necessary. You get, so we can have this one off, right? But I just wanted the balance. That's why I have that.
okay, so that's what I'm asking, that
So
having
I
a
can,
hamburger up there.
if I remove this now, for instance, right?
Yeah.
If I remove this hamburger, I probably would want to have something like high in euro. I'll put hello so that it feels like it's balanced. I'll make this smaller and I'll make sure that this is in the center of things. I'll make sure that the name is a little bit bolder because that's the name you're, the person's name. The person wants to feel like the person is at home. Do you understand? So treat my name with
Yeah.
respect. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
if you're going to remove this, the work is not balanced. What's all
Yeah.
this space for you? You get, so like I just put that so that it
Okay.
is balanced. You
So,
get.
but I mean, so that's what I'm saying. Like, is it like a standard thing where if you already have a hamburger that like opens up menus, you don't need to have something at the bottom again?
Actually, yeah.
All right. Yeah.
What was the first one? Then layout grids. Layout grids are
Yes.
important.
Yes. Layout
But
grid. Yes.
you know the thing is like a car that you start driving. Sometimes when you don't drive and reach one particular stage, you probably will not be having your L plate number on your car. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now if you, I probably won't need layout grids right now. It's really not important. But you know you can also see grids as you zoom in. True of us. Low key, you can see.
No, I don't. No, I don't. Is it that? That's what I said for you now. Like, but it's just for others. For others, like I like to feel like others are while still learning. So it's just like a guide to show that okay, this is it. This is it. This one is touching the end of this one. So that's why I said if there was like
For
a grid line that you are
in
doing.
as you progress, I really love working the hard way. So I'll show them, I show all of you people here how to go about it in the hard way. You can do layout grids. You know, even before we even started using all of these plugins, we probably were going the hard way on looking for our plugins. Because if you learn the hard way, you probably, when these things come, I can design a full application in less than an hour. In fact, I did it yesterday in 15 minutes. Do you
Hmm.
understand? So like if you learn the hard way sometimes for people that start learning all of these things, you put them on the expressway, you put them in the burner, they learn faster because if they mess up, they're dead. Do you understand? So like that's like another logic. You can layouts are grids are good and stuff. Use it if you have to. Hmm? But all of these things, like you're saying, they are prone to change depending on how you want to maneuver it. Right? Did I answer your questions?
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Any other one?
Now,
Anastasia, you're not talking. Hey,
now I'm Gucci. I'm Gucci.
hey,
Thank you.
hey, hey, say you're using my word. You're Gucci.
Yeah.
Anastasia is not here anymore. Hey, Titi, how are you now? How are you doing? How's your
I'm
health?
here.
Please, oh, let's all pray for Titi. Oh, she just came out of. I don't know if she wants to make this public, but we can as well talk about it in our course. Please, she's healing now. She just came out from something. So please, you guys should send her a message after the course.
Right.
Anastasia, how are you now? You have any questions? Pelumi, any questions? Andrew,
No, sir.
no question, no question. Okay.
No,
We are
sir.
good. We are learning.
He said that we're learning. So any are we for me because the way we are going, we may not complete this course. Low key. But I think we will end at one point. I would make sure that we shall do design the application and I'll make sure that I mean we are working to a particular period, but we may not be able to finish it to the end, right? But would obviously get halfway so that we all are able to like understand like the new processes and flows and all of those type of things, so that we're doing things. When we're doing things, let's do it well. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
There. So we have our food page. So I'll do our food page, and then I'll make sure that I now start designing the app so that you guys can start seeing this thing look real. You can start understanding what I'm saying. So the food page will literally have that's what is that page? We can actually even, the thing is, when we're actually even doing our flow for the first time, like we did here, it's actually like a step. We can decide to say we are not doing this page and we just want it to flow from here to here. Do you understand? So like, for instance, let's do it this way. Let's show our food page. So imagine we clicked on this prawn mixed salad now. Where are we supposed to take this to? We're supposed to take this to, sorry, the next page. And now this next page is just going to have now, so this one will have food, right? And this one will have a back button. So let's try and get our back icon. This is 36, so we can delete this and make this 36. Okay, so we have our back icon. Then we'll delete all these things we're seeing here. 1 second. We don't need this one. We don't need this one. We don't need this showing in here. Make our flow over here. Right? So then there's also something I want to add to the experience, which is, what if you go in here and say this particular meal, because obviously you're buying food now. You may want 2 portions, you may want 3 portions, you may want 4 portions, depending on, how. If it was pizza, it was maybe half and half barbecue chicken and chicken wings. You probably say that's a pack, right? So if it's a pack, you want 2. So you want 2 half and halves barbecue chicken and chicken suya. So you probably will want to have that looking like this. Let's just leave it the same way. No need to add like extra stuff to it. Right? So I probably at this point want to, so I made sure that this was aligning at that same level. Okay, so let's do it this way. Let's say we have, let's push this one over here. So let's say we have small size, medium size, and a large size. Should we make this bigger? Let's make the width 80, 80, 80, 80. So depending on your selection, you have it. If it's small, you probably have your small looking that way. It's medium, have a medium looking that way. It is large, column almost there, and then we can have. So at this point, we don't need our menu because we have a back button that takes us back to that other side, and then of course at this point we also don't need the search filter. I think it would be more appropriate to have this this is 359. Have this one. So it should start making sense. Like I always say, once we have this thing looking the way it's supposed to look, I think we should increase this one to maybe like 15 or something. Let's do 15. So of course, someone should notice that this whole design is not yet balanced in the sense that we need something here. If we have something on this left hand side, it's only appropriate to have something at the right hand side. What can we really have on this our right hand side? We probably would want to have maybe a rating of how that child is. I think this is the time where we know, oops, where we know how much this food is. Otherwise, we'll enter this. So I'm trying to just get dummy text. Sorry guys, give me like 3 minutes, I'll be back. Sorry, just 3 minutes. So remember that that's what we're going to do. So let's just quickly round this thing up. So the first thing I probably would want to have is that love thingy over here. Um, Pretty straightforward. Why is it going this way? Selection. Okay, so that's it. We have that one first, and then the second thing I probably would want to be having, or I probably want to have on this side is the mat. So guys, so that's what we have here. Um, so what we want to do now is probably have our mobile app, right? Which is like the major mobile app design, like we always do. So we just should remember is Yakoyo, right? And we can make our color scheme orange or something, because like that's what like the food color scheme is. You get, so what I want to do is make this, for pronunciation's sake, make this Yakoyo, like Yako, and then the yo is like yo, like yo, right? So that's what we have there. All right. So duplicate this too as well. So probably now at this point I want to have like we could have this as being orange. Let's ungroup it. Let's have what is inside as white. Let's have this as orange. We already given it. Let's have this as black. So group this. Let's have this as black. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. So for this one, what I want to do now, sorry, is have you probably have this orange. You need the other ones the way they look. Get rid of the stroke. Let's have effects. Get rid of the stroke. Let's have effects. Let's have this as white. Get rid of the stroke, have effects, and then put this being white. And we can have 1, 2, 3 as yellow. Sorry, orange. We can have this, and this as white. This, and this as fade of black. Pretty good. You can have this. You can remove the stroke, the fill white, and have some effects, right? So over here we'll have our dish here, we'll have it here, we'll have here too as well. And then obviously over here we can remove the stroke, and we can make this not white but still in the middle, right? We can make these two the same color. Right, and probably push this to like 50 for the ground. We want to make this yellow so that looks good. Remove the stroke, have some effects, and make what we have inside white. And remember that this would have a display picture of some sort. We can have this as okay. So you know what? What I feel we should have, make this hamburger menu be like, probably be like when we slide it, we should have some sort of, you know how you go to a restaurant and then they take menus and all those type of things. So if you click on that, you can see your current order without even going over here. If you click on that, you can just see immediately your current order. So we can have that slide function for just that particular thing. So I mean, we're still we're still in we're still Gucci, right? Sorry, 1 second. So we can remove the stroke, have some no need for effect, have the fill to be say black too as well. Okay, so what we want to do here is pretty make orange, make this orange, but then some sort of say light, remove the stroke, important, have some no need for effect. That look awful. Let's just first duplicate this for all of these things. Let's remove all the strokes, and then over here we need icons. We need 3 icons here, and let's see if we can get some 3 icons that we can have over there. 1 second. So let's have these SVGs. Let's see if we can use any of these ones here. Still not that bad. I don't know. Let's see if we have ice cream or something. We can. Okay. So we need images over here. So let's look for some images. Prawn mixed salad. I was thinking I'll see some. Okay. Almost done. So 1 second. No, that means supposed be selecting. Okay, so let me just click on this to take them to the side. So let's take this one back. Can you see? Sorry. So we have 2 more to go. Let's just see if we can get like some food images or something. fried rice. So the issue now we're going to have is getting images. You know. So we can use this. Can use that one too as well. I'll probably make this one. Maybe we can need this as pasta. Um, Pasta with snail or something, because we've changed it already. Okay, so we can now have unfortunately we have a lot of meals that are not Nigerian, but let's see if we can have amala next. See, the funny thing is, over here we don't do food photography, unfortunately. I don't know why. It's just absolutely nothing. Doesn't even look nice to the eyes, Nigeria, we have a problem. See the way it looks. How will I buy it? See, there's obviously a difference in, presentation. See, we're going to make this a real continental dish because I can't stand having that on my UI. I'm telling you, it's very ridiculous. See how white guys do this stuff. We will now have something looking like that. Worst case, we'll have this one and call it amala or something. Because I don't see us having that one. I don't know, this is not it. Oh my god. Very ridiculous. Oh my god. Okay, so we can have something that looks like fried rice. Okay, so this doesn't look that bad. This looks good actually. So we can have that looking maybe as, yeah, I'm going now. Almost done. Almost done. If it was XD, we probably would have finished already. Because these images, they take some time to drop in, especially when it is. Okay, so I'm almost done. We have just two more to go. Just get anyone looking nice. Just save anyone looking nice and have that on here. So we have one and then we have two. Okay, one, two. On this way, two looking like this. Okay, so you see, okay, this, make this smaller, have this right click, use mask, drop this one in here. Okay. Okay, so last one, which is Amala. Unfortunately, we have to use something that doesn't look like Amala for Amala, because we're in Nigeria where. So, anyways, it just tells us that there's a market for product photography for Nigerian folks. Alright guys, so that's what we have over here. So you can see that, we're able to build something that looks good. I think the final thing we probably have that we haven't done is the picture. But today you can see the class was a little bit different. We're able to play around with a little bit more plugins that we haven't played around with in a bit, right? So you guys don't know how to use some of these new plugins and stuff. And let's answer Anastasia's question from last week when she was like, oh, I don't know how to do mockups, and I don't know how to do this, and I don't know how to do that. There's a mock. One second, let me just do this. So this is 352. This is 352. So there's a mockup for that too as well, right? There's a plugin for that. I will share the plugins for you in the class group, so you can see how the application we just designed all of a sudden goes into a phone. Can you see how this works? So you see, for presentation, when we have our official class for presentation, can you see we can literally already start visualizing how our applications can actually be. You can see looking already really nice and stuff. So today we've literally played along with some new stuff. We played along with our user flow. Our user flow had a different experience. We have a low fidelity wireframe that we did, and then of course we couldn't complete it, but we have of course we have done all of these things, right? And then we also played along with a couple of plugins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this particular document, right? And I'm going to put everybody's names in every section. I want you to go there. So I'm starting with you, Anastasia. Your name is going to be there. Pelumi, everybody's name, Mr. Emmanuel, Andrew, all your names are going to be there. Now under your names, what I want you to do is I want you to come here and drag, or what I'll do is I'll leave low fidelity wireframes under your names. You can now from there add more pages and also do your own mobile app redesign. So I'm giving you this document. Please don't go and delete everything.